South Dakota residents hit the polls, College Week takes a look into a new student group, and USF students celebrate Halloween. All this and more coming up next on College Week.
From the Jeske Fine Arts Center on the campus of the University of Sioux Falls, this is College Week. With Stephanie Kurtz, Michelle Jacobs, and Alex Bainey, Sports.
Good morning, I'm Stephanie Kurtz.
And I'm Michelle Jacobs. Thanks for joining us. Last Tuesday was Election Day, and the Republicans swept the state. Dennis Dugard won the governor race, beating Democrat Scott Heiderprim with 62% of the vote. Kristi Noem beat incumbent Democrat Stephanie Herseth-Sandlin and independent B. Thomas Marking for the United States Representative title. Noem won with 48% of the vote, while Herseth-Sandlin had 46%. Senator John Thune won his race as he ran unopposed.
The smoking ban has been an ongoing battle for the past 2 years. However, the passing of Referred Law 12 on election night has brought the debate to a close. The new law will extend South Dakota's indoor smoking ban to bars, restaurants, and casinos. In addition to the vote in 2009, which outlawed smoking in most workplaces and public areas, Referred Law 12 makes South Dakota the 29th state to go smoke-free. The law will go into effect on Wednesday, November 10th.
With the end of the semester approaching, students at the University of Sioux Falls will soon be registering for the spring semester. Registration for the spring of 2011 is from Wednesday, November 10th to Friday, November 19th. Students are required to meet with their advisors before they are allowed to register on the LMS. The order of registration begins with seniors or 90 or more credit earned hours and will continue on with juniors, then to sophomores, and end with freshmen. For more information, visit the school's website at www.usiouxfalls.edu and click on the My USF tab at the top of the page.
This fall, you may have seen emails and posters around campus talking about something called Cougar Crazies. College Week's Mary Eggstead has more on the story.
Many students on campus do not know what Cougar Crazies are. Junior Liz Boyle is one of these many students.
I know nothing about Cougar Crazies at all, other than that they've incorporated the Under Armour symbol into their name.
Cougar Crazies, the new student athletic fan club, was started last year by Connor McKee. The now USF senior explains what Cougar Crazies are.
Basically, it's a athletic supporters group, and it slowly transformed into just all athletics, as I noticed that more and more students were wearing them to every sporting event that they could think of. So now it's just an all athletics supporters group.
With the Cougar Crazies t-shirts costing $20 a piece, many are left wondering where all the money goes. McKee explains where the money ends up and how the experience is benefiting him.
$300 is going to the athletic department. And it's been kind of a project for entrepreneurial studies. So part of business is making money, and I'm learning all the marketing and all that good stuff.
Junior Laura Anderson is a current Cougar Crazy.
Of course I'm a Cougar Crazy. I love it. It's great. It's so great.
Anderson explains what she enjoys most about Cougar Crazies.
Going to the games and being able to wear the same shirts as everyone else, because then you just look like a united front as the student body, and you can just all cheer together and you just look awesome together.
McKee explains what he hopes will be the future of Cougar Crazies after he graduates this spring.
I wanted it to be something bigger than just me selling shirts, and I hope next year it really takes off into being something a little more organized, since there'll be more people working on it. One guy doesn't have a lot of time to do more than just get the shirts and then message people and say, hey, come out to the game and stuff. So I really hope there'll be a kind of a legacy, and I can come back in 10 years and still see it rolling.
For College Week, I'm Mary Eggstead.
Coming up next, we take a look at USF students' Halloween festivities.
Academic excellence, inspired talent, Christian values, athletic champions. This is the University of Sioux Falls, proud to be with you the whole way.
It's not like we don't know how to party. Yeah, all right, let's go.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Oh, not too much. Just watching some TV.
Awesome.
Really cold morning. You woke
Yeah,
up and those dogs
but
were
there's
licking
nothing
your
good
face.
on.
From the Jeske Fine Arts
Hey
Center on the
guys,
campus of the
College Week is
University of
on.
Sioux Falls, this is College Week.
This is your celebration. Celebrate good times, come on. Let's celebrate. Celebrate good times, come on. Let's celebrate.
Last Friday, USF students participated in a trick-or-treat fundraiser. With more on the story, here's Cameron Keys.
The University of Sioux Falls Spanish Department recently hosted a trick-or-treat event to raise money for UNICEF. UNICEF is an organization affiliated with the United Nations committed to providing humanitarian relief for underprivileged children.
I've done this before with children's groups with public schools, the last time in Vermilion with an elementary school there. And I generally find that that's very well received by the public, that UNICEF is a name that the public recognizes and a cause that they're happy to contribute to. I'm anxious to see how many of our students make it out tonight, and we'll go out and canvass neighborhoods to raise money.
One such student was senior Amanda Talsma.
It was good. I just had a short time to do it, about 40 minutes, and we went just house to house and asked people to donate to UNICEF. So
The UNICEF event was about more than just raising money. Vandenover says students were also interested in learning about Dia de los Muertos, a Spanish holiday that honors deceased loved ones.
Spanish classes in particular, we're interested in comparing how the celebration of Dia de los Muertos is different than the celebration of Halloween for students from our country. And what we find is that they're completely different. For starters, they're on a different day. We know that Halloween is October 31st, but Dia de los Muertos is actually 2 days, November 1st and November 2nd.
Vandenover says programs like this allow students to experience intercultural perspectives.
The way people are remembered, the traditions that they have, it gives us a chance to compare, and it gives us a chance to reflect on what we believe ourselves and the things that we do. And I know that for me, since having this experience with people of other cultures, there's a little bit more added to what we do. You know, Halloween for me, All Saints Day for me, isn't anymore about trick-or-treating, all costume and silliness aside tonight. It's a time of remembrance, really more similar to our Memorial Day than to Halloween.
For College Week,
happy Halloween.
I'm Cameron Keys.
Trinity Baptist Church in Sioux Falls held its annual Halloween event, Trunk or Treat, this past Sunday. Brandon Sandoval has more.
Here you are. When most people think trick-or-treating, they think door-to-door. But Trinity Baptist is doing something a little different and a little safer.
This is Trunk or Treat, and we just decorate our cars and invite the community to come and trick or treat from trunk to trunk.
The event has been going on for 13 years and aims to spread Christ's light on Halloween night. Hyatt says all are welcome to participate.
Nope, it's open to everybody, and this year we worked with Life 96.5 and just said if anybody from the community was interested that they could come, and we had one person call in that's not from our church that asked to be a part of it.
USF junior Sean McDonald says he enjoys being involved in the annual event.
This is my second year doing this, but when I was younger I came and I walked around and received candy, so it's nice just switching roles.
The event draws people from all over the community, and the church needs to provide candy for all participants.
We average probably, we think with the parents, about 1,000 people. So with the amount of candy that we give out every year, it's just grown. And so like this year we did an estimate and counted like 32,000 pieces of candy. And we have an hour and a half to go, and they're estimating that we'll be out of candy before the night's over.
Daniel Bartel, a USF freshman, helped out at the event and says what his favorite memory is connected to it.
I'd have to say there was one year we did a Noah's Ark, and me and my brother had hundreds of stuffed animals that we set up all around our truck. So that was probably the best. Probably 8 years ago, but it was fun.
Hyatt says the event happens regardless of the weather.
You know, we've had it every year, but there was one year where it was icy. I think we had about 6-7 cars out here, and it was just a bad night. But otherwise, it's been beautiful. We've had some really good nights.
Anticipating the colder weather, Trinity provided an indoor snack area with hot cider and cocoa. For USF College Week, I'm Brandon Sandoval.
With Sioux Falls becoming more eco-friendly, one restaurant does its part to help share the environment. College Week's Bess Salisbury reports.
With the push of going green in the Sioux Falls community, one restaurant is taking it to the next level. Cole Schad, owner of Mix, says he started Mix because he wanted Sioux Falls to have a healthy alternative to fast food.
I felt I've always wanted to own my own business and open my own business, and when actually my dad and I were talking about this idea a couple years ago, about 2.5 years ago, we thought of, just in a normal conversation of this idea of a place that specializes in salads, and you can come in, you can create your own salads. That's pretty much at that point what it was. I really, after thinking about it further, I really fell in love with the idea and the concept and what it could do, bringing, fresh quality food, specifically salads and wraps and other items, on a fast-paced scale, which is, there's a big void in that area, definitely in Sioux Falls, of healthy food on the go. So,
Lexi Severson, supervisor at Mixed, says that all the utensils are recyclable as part of the Going Green pledge.
Like our cups and our silverware and our plates are all recyclable, mostly compostable too, where they can be broken down and recycled. A lot of our equipment is used and recycled too.
Schad says that the Going Green pledge not only helps the environment, but helps customers get involved.
Me personally, I've always thought it's important, to be more eco-friendly. Definitely on the business side, businesses are tending more to go that direction. And when I thought of the idea, I kind of thought, well, my personal side came into it, making that decision, but then also with the healthier option that we're going to have for our menu with the salads, the wraps, being a healthier restaurant, I thought it was a really good fit, on the green, our look and atmosphere in here of the salads, of the healthier food, of the greens, tying that into a green-friendly plan, and tying the eco-friendly plan in. I thought it was a really good fit. But also me personally, I believe heavily in it. And it, of course, is a good experience for the customers to help out too while they're at the restaurant, help out with feeling great about coming in and being the total experience, feeling good about what they're eating and also where they're eating and going to a place that cares about the environment.
Mandy Murtha and Chrissy Asoff say that Mixed appeals to them because of the healthy menu.
I like the paninis and the wraps. I'm a pretty healthy eater, and I like salads a lot too. So this is my first time coming here, but their menu is pretty wide variety, so I think I'll come quite a bit.
It's just a healthy alternative. It's good to have a place to go where you can grab a salad and a wrap or something.
Schad says that Mix appeals to college students because of their desire to stay healthy.
So it appeals well to college students because it's a healthy alternative, to balance out that busy and stressful times at college. And it really, just works well with the diet plan for people, in college. It's a good balance to offset the I'd say, more unhealthy food that a lot of college students tend to get pulled into.
Mix is not only a sit-down restaurant. You can also get your order to go. Thanks. For USF College Week, I'm Bess Salisbury.
Coming up after the break, reporter Brandon Sandoval sits down with Mike Westerberg. Don't go away.
Academic excellence, inspired talent, Christian values, athletic champions. This is the University of Sioux Falls. Proud to be with you the whole way.
Good morning and welcome to another edition of USF Crosstalk. I'm Brandon Sandoval and this morning my guest is Mike Westerberg, a senior criminal justice major. Mike, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Brandon.
All right, so as a criminal justice major, you know a little bit about the law side of things and politics, right?
Just a little, yeah.
All right. So recently we had our elections last Tuesday, and there was one really heated race, and that was the Kristi Noem versus Stephanie Herseth Sandlin race for the House of Representatives. coming into it, were you, I mean, knowing the outcome, were you surprised by what happened?
A little. I did actually figure her stuff was going to pull it out in the end. It was going to be close no matter what. I mean, 48, 46% is, it was as expected. I just didn't figure it was actually going to go that way.
Now, do you think that because it was so close, Herseth Sandlin might ask for a recount of any kind? Or do you think that's really not going to help at all?
It's possible, but 2%, even in South Dakota, a small state, you're still looking at thousands of votes. So it's hard to have that much error. So it's not really an option now.
So Herseth's record, she voted no on health care and on the bailouts. She really voted against her party in favor of what was popular in South Dakota, but we still voted her out. Do you think that was just the trend that the Republicans were coming into power a little bit, or do you think it's just a South Dakota thing?
Part of it was, yeah, it was mostly a trend. If you look across the country, it happened in a lot of states. I think there was 8 states, I think, that actually that flopped parties. And in fact, the Republicans picked up 39 seats.
It's something random like that. They took the majority.
They took the majority in the House, but they picked up a ton of seats. Yeah, mainly a trend. Part of it was some of the ads that Noam ran. A lot of it was focused on very specific, you know, this one vote. Excuse me, this one vote she had, 1 or 2 versus the other times she did talk about that she actually did vote for South Dakota interests and things like that.
So that 1 or 2 votes, I mean, do you think that she voted for Nancy Pelosi as House Speaker? Do you think that really affected her and affected voters here in the state?
I think so. I mean, Pelosi is almost a dirty word in South Dakota. But yeah, I mean, and she didn't necessarily, part of that's just political strategy. She didn't necessarily vote with Pelosi, it just happened to be that they're on the same side of the issue.
Any particular reason why Pelosi is such a dirty word here? Like, is it her politics? Is it just her as a person? What's up with that?
Well, I mean, South Dakota's a conservative state, obviously, and Pelosi tends to be far left on most things. Other than that, a lot of her history has shown she's incredibly liberal. She's a lot of South Dakotans just don't like who's in power at the moment, and she's just one of the top dogs. That's how it goes.
So now that we have Kristi Noem as our representative, do you think that all the campaigns that we saw about her driving record, do you think those will hold true, that she'll consider herself above the law or anything, or do you think she'll keep it down to a relatively good level?
I would think it would be quite ironic if she does end up with more, excuse me, or end up in jail or something while she's in Congress. But no, that's in all seriousness, no. It might be an issue. I mean, there's been certain senators, representatives, whatever, before that have had records or things like that. One of our former governors. I mean, that's kind of a famous one. But and then that hasn't seemed to be that much of an issue. But time will tell. We'll see.
And then real quickly, another hot issue that was on a ballot was the secret ballot. It was Amendment K. It was dealing with secret ballots so that everybody has the right to vote for like a union or something in particular in secret. What are your opinions on that?
Amendment K is actually, if you read it, it sounds simple, but it's actually quite complicated. There's hours of research you could do into it to actually what political strategy was behind it. Because if you just read the bill, it almost mirrors part of South Dakota's constitution. It mirrors Article 7, Section 3, almost word for word. So it seems kind of redundant, but if you read into it, there's sections about the labor union.
All right. So all in all, it'll make a little impact, but not a whole lot. All right.
Exactly.
All right. Well, that's all the time we have. Up next, after the break, is Alex Bainey with sports.
Academic excellence, inspired talent, Christian values, athletic champions. This is the University of Sioux Falls. Proud to be with you the whole way.
And now it's time for sports with sports reporter Alex Bainey.
So Alex, what do you have in sports for us today?
Well, we have a lot in store today. We got some wrestling, some cross country, and the basketball team starts off their season today, actually.
Sounds great.
The USF wrestling team will kick off their season today in Brookings, South Dakota at the Daktronics Open. Sophomore Joe Scow, the reigning GPAC heavyweight champion, leads a group of Cougars which have 5 additional wrestlers ranked regionally. The tournament starts at 9 a.m. The men's and women's cross-country teams will participate in the Great Plains Athletic Conference Championships today in Yankton, South Dakota. Former GPAC Runner of the Week Ashley Unruh leads the Cougar women, and Bobby Brookmuller lead the men, who are fresh off a third-place finish. The women finished 10th in their last race at Mount Marty Invitational. The race begins at 10:30 a.m. The Cougars hit the hardwood today as the 16th-ranked women's basketball team travels to Des Moines, Iowa to battle Grandview University. The women's team finished last season with a record of 18-14 and returns 4 or 5 starters, including junior Betsy Hildreth. The men's team will also be in action today as they take on Dakota State University. The Cougars will start the season ranked 8th in the nation and 1st in the GPAC Conference. The Cougars returned 4 or 5 starters and added a handful of new talented players, including South Dakota State transfer James Rader. The men will take the floor at 4 p.m. at the Stewart Center, and the women will tip off at 6 p.m. in Des Moines. To get an inside look on Cougar football, College Week sports reporter Brett Geese sat down with first-year head coach Jed Stugart.
It's the first week of November, and that can mean only one thing. The USF football team is gearing towards another national championship run. Coach Stugart sat down to talk about how even though the team is different from last year's, the winning ways have carried over.
You know, they've seen from the foundation that's been laid here from Coach Young to Kalen, and kind of realizing what it takes to be the best in the off season. You know, your season is always not your playing dates, it's always the off season in the summers and in the spring.
And this summer they had to work extra hard with a new quarterback coming in.
So offensively, John Eastman coming in the summertime and really being around our team a lot in the summer and getting to know his receivers and his offensive line. And that camaraderie struck really fast. And so the team really had a confidence in knowing that John, how good he is, but also how much of a team guy he is. And so that there didn't really feel like we had a new quarterback there. It seems like the guys knew him coming into camp very well.
It's clear that the wide receivers are comfortable, including John Ryan, who leads the team with 48 catches. But according to Coach Stugart, it's not just Eastman to Ryan, but it's the other wideouts getting the job done as well.
You know, I think John gets big numbers, but I think in the course of a game, all of our other receivers the ball's been distributed to where, you know, that's where all of our underneath routes are coming through now. That kind of opens John back up when they start dropping down and trying to take care of Alex and Anderson and Tony Benedetto and Brock Madsen and Michael Hicks. All of a sudden, you know, here goes John down the sideline, you know, in man coverage again, or isolated, and you know, it kind of opens him back up.
But the real question is, how have the passing lanes been this open?
You know, lately, you know, when people try to commit so much to stopping the run, well, obviously, you know, that's going to open up your pass game. We've just felt like if that's what teams are doing, we got to take what they give us, and eventually, you know, you've got to address that at some point. We feel like, you know, you got to kind of pick your poison. We're going to stay committed to running the football because we're not going to let that part of our offense go. But through the course of a game, eventually you just got to take what people give you.
Game time today is scheduled for noon in Sioux Center, Iowa. For all your USF Cougar athletic news, go to www.usfcougars.com. For College Week Sports, I'm Brett Geese. Now back to you in the studio.
College Week's resident movie critics sit down to discuss the recent release of Jackass 3D.
Hello and welcome to another edition of USF Movie Moment. I'm here with Mr. James Rader, and we both went and saw the one, the only Jackass 3D. Now this movie, same as the old movies, only it was amped up, and it's better, and it's just...
Personally, what I thought, you know, made the movie so great was the 3D effects.
A lot of their skits were definitely more planned out, and you could tell that in this movie they were just definitely taking things a notch higher than they have been in the past movies with all their pranks, all the slapstick humor. Everything was just amped up in this movie for sure.
So now, what were some of your favorite parts, your favorite skits?
I'd have to say the part where they're just in this pen with a bunch of little billy goats, and the goats are just ramming them and just going after these guys, just completely defenseless. It was just pretty stupid, but pretty funny. So those are my two favorite parts, and overall I thought the movie was really good. It was really funny, and so I would have to give it 4 out of 5 stars.
I'd have to say was probably when they bounced Ryan Dunn off of the blob and shot him with a bunch of paintballs while he was 35, 40 feet up in there. That was funny. And for a star rating, I'd probably have to give him probably 4 out of 5. I'd have to agree with James here. But they could have done things better, but they didn't, and it kind of let me down just a little bit. Just a little bit, though.
This movie came out October 15th, and it will be out for a while longer if you guys want to go check it out. It's definitely the jackass kind of humor, so if that's not what you're into, I wouldn't recommend going and seeing it. But if you love, the jackass kind of humor, then I think you're going to love this movie.
And this has been Movie Moment with
James
and Bobby. High five!
And that wraps up another edition of USF College Week. I'm Stephanie Kurtz.
And I'm Michelle Jacobs. Have a great day.